In fact, we're not going to go to a break. Let's bring in a guest. We are able to speak tonight to governance expert Dr Harlan Cloete. A very good evening, Doctor. Grateful for your time. So President Ramaphosa addressing an ANC elective conference in the Western Cape, the first in about 8 years. Is this the turning point that the organization needs, especially if it hopes to claw back political support and influence in the Western Cape for the 2024 election?
Good evening to you and good evening to the viewers. You know, look, it's a start. The last elective conference was in 2015. We had an interim committee managing the day-to-day affairs of the party. So certainly the ANC had internal governance challenges, and hopefully, you know, this is a start. You know, for a political party, the currency of political parties is power, and the focus is going to be, I suppose, over the next 12 months. The president talked about 10 months as to how do they win the trust back of the electorate, because the electorate have all but deserted the ANC in the Western Cape. Election after election, the ANC has not done well at the polls.
And the ANC's failure to win back governance of the Western Cape predates events around 2015 onwards, because it was in 2009 that they lost a crucial election, and since then we've seen voters consistently looking away from the African National Congress. So realistically, they'll need more than a year, will they not, if they really hope to win government or governance in the Western Cape?
Look, like I said, political parties enter the ring to win, but it is going to be an uphill battle for the ANC to win back the confidence of the people. I think there was a time pre-2009 where the ANC did fairly well in the province. You know, I think with the National Party, they then controlled the legislature and they controlled some municipalities. And it was almost like a honeymoon process. But then the infighting started, the factionalism started between the Rasool camp and the Squatsha camp, and that, you know, from ever since, it has been the downward spiral for the ANC. The ANC has struggled to unite the people of the Western Cape. It's a unique province, different to the rest of the country in terms of the demographics, and so the electorate. In the meantime, while this has happened, the DA has simply consolidated their base, and the DA is firmly in control in the Western Cape.
You mentioned demographics, in the Western Cape. Key, of course, to how any party does there. The ANC has been criticized in the past for paying less attention, or in fact just outright ignoring the needs of predominantly colored communities. And even on the road to this conference this weekend, one of the things people wanted to see was a provincial executive that was reflective of the diversity of the people of the Western Cape. I wonder if you think they've been able to do that this weekend, and what they will have to do then to be able to go back into those predominantly colored communities and assure them, convince them that this is the party to address their concerns.
I think it's more than just simply replace. I think demographic representation is important. Yeah, I think people would like to see themselves when they look at leadership. I think that is important. If you look at the ANC at the national level, the criticism often of the national ANC is that if you look at the top six, it doesn't represent really the demographics of South Africa and the diversity. The president talked about the UDF and the role that the UDF played in the 80s in uniting people around a common cause. I don't think that the ANC has succeeded in uniting the people around a development path out of this misery. People often that were active in the UDF talk about the glorious days where people worked and struggled together, irrespective. You know, you were just black, you were not colored. So how people struggled together. And so the ANC has not managed, I think, successfully in the province to unite the people around a common vision and a common cause and about a common vision of a better life for all. If you look at how national politics plays out, people tell me it's a better life for some and not a better life for all. So, yeah. In
order to change its fortunes, then, does the ANC now need to target or set its sights on the quote-unquote colored vote? Is that it's the only way it can claw its way out of these losses?
I think the premise of the ANC is non-racialism. In other words, you must go back there. There's disintegration of branches. There's no program of action on the ground. You know, there is no program. There's no action. There's no unity. And the ANC is scattered. And hopefully after this conference then, if the ANC would like to win an election in 2024, it will have to go down to ground to build the branches around the cause, looking at active participation. The ANC has not done well even as an opposition in the province. It is struggling with its role as an opposition in the legislature. It is struggling to be an active opposition even in the municipalities where it governs. And so there is hardly a program of action on the ground that one can see the ANC in action. And so to win back the voters, it's an uphill battle for the ANC from here on to regain the trust. Because you see, once trust is broken in a relationship, it becomes very, very, very difficult to rebuild that trust.
Right.
And, former UDF apartheid veteran Alan Busak once said, not even an angel from heaven can save the ANC in the Western Cape. That was his analysis about 12 years ago. Now, the ANC need to take up this challenge and to say, what program are we going to put on the ground to win back the trust and the confidence of the people? And it's not just about colored people, it's about people. It's about people where there's poverty, because poverty knows no color, you know?
Right.
And so, specifically in the rural areas, we have a scramble for resources, and so the ANC must stick to its non-racial project and go to ground if it wishes to win the election in 2024.
What about the branches then? What becomes the role of ANC branches? Because by Ramaphosa's own admission tonight, they will be key to any of the party's success in places such as the Western Cape, and they have been in disarray, which is partly why the party has not been able to even go to an elective conference for almost a decade.
Yeah. Former President Kgalema Motlanthe said, you have a member of members. And so the branch is it's possible for individuals to capture a branch. And so instead of being a leader, I become a looter. I use the branch to advance my own narrow self-interest. And so the heart of servanthood is lost. And so the branch is at the lowest level. If you look at other political parties, how they organize, they've got ward councillors, and in these wards, we've got wall-to-wall municipalities. And so in these wards, you have branches and political parties wooing the electorate to support them.